everyone. At just 28 years old, Kaarel Kotkas leads a company of over 500 people across the world. He's been recognised as one of Forbes 30 under 30 in Europe, and he pursues an ambitious mission to make the online world a safer place. So what drives Veriff's founder and CEO, and how would he like to transform the internet for the better? Listen to Kaarel outline his approach to leadership, his career highlights to date, and much more. So welcome, Kaarel. Good to have you here today.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the invitation, Caroline. I'm excited.
It's a pleasure. I'm looking forward to getting to know more about you. So we're going to start by talking a bit about Veriff, and then we'll come on a bit more to you and your career. So it's obviously an interesting time, right, in the tech market and in the world in general. What do you think are going to be the company's key opportunities and challenges over the year ahead?
I actually think it's super rewarding time for the whole tech industry, because the companies that will survive are the ones that deal with real problems and have real solutions to it. So the times of white papers are over, and now it's more pragmatic decision making throughout the whole industry. So from our point of view, it's rewarding that it enables to eliminate the noise and work with our partners to really figure out what is the next 10x opportunity ahead of them. What is the new service they can bring online, or what is an approach in terms of their onboarding flows and overall fraud aspect that can be eliminated by having more room for the customers that really care of the services. So yeah, from the tech industry overall will become so much stronger, I'm sure.
Perfect. Love that enthusiasm. And how's Veriff been supporting clients during the volatile economic period?
Like our customers, we believe that and approach to them as partners. And this is always very important to be very transparent and hear how things are going and how we can support them in those volatile times as well. Because the service we offer to them is a business critical for their company to succeed. And therefore, it's very important to have good discussions and really go through the volatile times together and figure out the best solutions. So from our point of view, it's very individual. There are some customers that thrive more than ever. There are some that have some short-term challenges. But from our point of view, it's exciting for them to really challenge the way they've been thinking before, whether we can push and build something exciting together. And this is where I think is big time to build.
Yeah, and you're in it for the long haul with these customers, right? So these are long-term relationships.
Exactly. And actually it gets me back to the times when nearly 7 years ago, when one of our first customer we had here in Estonia, and this customer was called Hansapost, and it's an e-commerce. It's the Baltic and Nordic region of Amazon, and they leveraged our service, and it worked well until we thought 1.5 working on Veriff, let's allow ourselves a first free weekend. And we knew that it was one register-based check that we delivered to those companies to really see the validity of an ID and the people behind it. But we were the first ones to send so many requests to Estonian population registry, which meant that in some cases it blocked our IP, and we needed to leverage another IP to keep on having the volume. And we saw sometimes alerts, and then before this weekend off, we thought that we fixed it, but the result was that we turned off the alert when things went south. And I remember their CEO calling me up. It was 7:30 in the morning on Monday, saying that, Kaarel, this register page check has been down since Friday midnight, and a lot of our applications haven't been fulfilled. So please come to my office and let's look together into the contracts we've signed. And in those times, it was pretty important for us because they had a big amount of orders that weren't fulfilled to us, and I thought how come I can resolve this challenge, and so went to we fixed it right away, and then I went to a shop, bought a whiskey, and went to their office doorstep. And to my surprise, there wasn't only their CEO, but also the chairman of the board welcoming me at 9 a.m. at their office. And then I said, this is exactly what happened, that we did a fix that was counterproductive in this specific use case. And overall, the services are now operational. And I don't know how you can forgive me this, but hopefully you can allow yourself a whiskey at the end of the day and feel that there's a partnership that goes through whatever it takes. And I was pretty challenged on my own to do it, but kept as transparent communication as possible with them. And then their CEO told me something that guides us to this day, that, Kaarel, if you have two partners, there's one partner who has never had any challenges, but there's another one who has had some challenges, but have resolved it in a nice, transparent and polite way. Then I always choose the second partner, because I never know what happens to the first one, because things always go south. And this was something that really gave me a good understanding that what the real partnership mean like.
Yeah.
In the times of tech, internet is always a bit shaky, but the partnership and transparency is something that leads to great innovation.
Yeah. I love that. You see who people are in the tough times, right? That's when you see their character. So that brings me on really nicely to the core values at Veriff, right? So can you talk a little bit about what you seek to build as the core values for everyone who works at Veriff across the company?
When we think about the people who work at Veriff, then we have people who have joined Veriff from the top technology companies in the world. It's it's Amazon, Spotify, Google, Qualtrics, for example. There's all the companies out there, and our team consists of people that can work where they want, not work where they can. Yeah. Meaning that our people can choose where they put their energy on. And they are driven by the mission and the challenge that whether the internet needs another 15-minute fast delivery company or payments, or maybe the internet needs now a proper trust and safety layer that we feel proud to talk to our grandchildren in the future about. And keeping in mind the team that we have, then the core values for me is also the ownership of the impact we can make, the ownership of the decisions, and that enables people that have chosen to be here to really make big things happening. So when you think about out of all the different value statements, then for me it's the most important thing. Our team takes individual ownership of our journey.
Yeah. And
this is
that's very appealing to great people, right? They want to come and fix big problems and own the solution, right? Yeah, for sure. That makes a lot of sense. And let's talk about you as a leader. What's your approach to leading these teams of great people?
So from my side, a lot of it starts by having a great atmosphere and environment to be in that takes the friction away, that enables our team to be successful in their roles. Unfortunately, I don't have too much of a previous work experience to say that our culture or the way of work is so much different than in my previous jobs, because I don't have any yet. I've been building Veriff with the team and the culture and the environment, keeping the best practices in mind without having any legacy impact previously. So the approach of my leadership is to really get the excitement that comes from the individuals themselves and work and align the great band that we have. So the music comes together well, that we can really rock the socks off of the identity market. So this is something that for me is very important. I'm a very trusting person. I expect the same from everyone within Veriff, and I think it's core to our business, because essentially we are in the business of trust.
So let's talk a bit about that and about Veriff's mission. So can you just maybe explain a bit deeper the meaning of trust from the first hello?
So it has multiple sides to it. So the beginning of Veriff was that the identity verification market was driven by the compliance demand, which meant that companies did as much as needed and as less as possible. That was written in the law. But this made the cost of doing fraud very low. At the same time, the identity verification by just uploading a couple of pictures, it was very easy to outsmart using already tools from 8 years ago. And the third thing, the user experience felt like police is stopping your car and asking to see the driver's license. And everybody were like, okay, a bit frightened behind it. Even though it feels so natural that when we open up a library, membership, gym, we are always asked to show our ID. So how can we do it online in a way that it happens very conveniently? So if you think about the trust from the first hello, then let's verify in a way that we can even make the online verification more accurate than physical face-to-face authentication. At the same time, let's have a user experience that is smooth and feels like a warm hand taking you and guiding you through. Because trust from the first hello means that it's most of the times like the first interaction you have, and you can leave the first impression only once in your life. And that's the reason why it's so important to keep all those things in mind, that you have a very comfortable experience that delivers accurate decisions already at the first hello.
For sure. And another thing that I know you're really passionate about is the global element to the business, right? So we have an incredibly international team, but we're also helping with onboarding all over the world. So can you talk a bit about how we're helping there and with the kind of global access? So outside maybe the US and, the markets people would think of, what we're doing globally.
So yeah, there are different aspects to it. Like one aspect is like Estonia is so small, so we've been global from day one. But also the aspect of working with different companies and hearing them out that I can't work in this particular country due to some compliance or other challenges. And I think the world is becoming, together with tech, more borderless than it has ever been before, where the sense and level of identity documents, it's still different. But we have capabilities with a global scale to verify over 11,000 different government-issued IDs, to make honest people trusted no matter where they're coming from, to really have access to services they've never had before. And this is what excites me about the global scale of Veriff, to really bring services more near to the people. And once there's more services, more optionality, the fees of the services will go down. And also, when there's less fraud, it's also more accessible and less money goes to waste.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we're going to talk a bit about a topic which I think a lot of people are going to be interested in, which is about founding a successful company, right? So you've obviously founded a wildly successful company that is just getting started, right? So we've got a lot more to do, but it's already very successful. So what advice would you give to other people who are thinking about founding their own company and they were wanting to make a positive impact as well as, because that's where you've managed them both, right? You've founded a successful company that is also making a positive impact, and that's a big reason why a lot of us, including myself, joined. What advice would you give to other people who were hoping to do the same?
I think there are some obvious examples of really having the right motivation to become an entrepreneur, meaning that you have some individual driver, or you feel that something doesn't solve itself unless you do it. And this is the right motivation, not something like, I don't want to work for somebody else, or I don't want to do anything else. I want to be an entrepreneur, and because of all the perks it includes. Then I think I've seen it happen so much that people have a false sense of what it takes to build solutions globally at scale. Because maybe there can be some kind of control questions, like are you ready to work on something for the first 10 years that or like, do you enjoy noodles enough for the first 10 years? Because you know what is the alternative cost, what you're giving up, but it's a long journey to really be laser focused to build a great team and really build a company that stays. So that's the reason why I encourage people to really understand whether they are doing things for the right motivation. And money is never the thing. It's not rewarding. Results in fulfilling your vision is the most rewarding thing. And it takes time, but yeah, that's the key to success in this journey.
Love that. And what have you found most challenging over the years? What's been the hardest bit of founding your own company?
I think there are always the cases when you have some harder times, no matter how far away of your journey you are. You can imagine it's like a sinusoid, that in some cases it's basically you just have the hard times, and then you work hard, and then you're getting also back to the better times. But there's always ups and downs. no matter the stage, the challenge is that the amplitude between wins and losses gets bigger all the time. So you're always and becoming a bit too humble based on the big wins that you didn't know it's possible like 3 years ago. But once you are there, you're already very careful what can go wrong. But it's very, very sobering throughout this whole journey to have those challenging times. And when you look back to them, they're the coolest times. Your brain works in a way that you think that getting and overcoming the challenges have been the most dramatic experience building a company overall. So hard to name out challenges, because the challenges that we had in the early days are the ones that I choose today every single day. And that's the reason it makes it hard to name it out as such.
Yeah, fair enough. And just one extra question, because you've got such a close relationship with your co-founder, Janer, maybe you can talk a little bit about what it's like co-founding with someone, because that's obviously quite a different experience than doing it on your own.
Yeah. So the beginning of a couple of years was quite a lonely process, and building it on your own and starting and seeing where it all goes. But over the years, when also Janer joined, then Janer joined as head of operations to really help getting the operations set in place. And throughout this journey, we felt a very good connection that we truly share the same values. And if you'd like to go far, go together. And this was something that really intrigued me about. And over the course of those years, we've grown together very closely. And there's actually a funny story to tell that we spent so much time together. And there's also the reason why I don't think that AI will take over the world right away, is that iPhone started to share the memories or the collaboration of different pictures. And it always took the pictures of me and Janer together and always shared first year together, this is your anniversary. And iPhone always thinks that I have so much more romantic relationship than just founding a startup together. And yeah, it might have been like a cliche, but he truly is the brother from another mother. I believe the co-founder is the one that you can talk about everything, about all the things what it takes building a company, because otherwise it's pretty hard to do it long term, just you alone.
Yeah, I can imagine. So what would you have done if you hadn't founded Veriff? If you'd gone in a completely different career direction, what's plan B?
I was on my way to become a doctor. This was all of my plan around that I'm going to study medicine. So this was my plan after graduating secondary school. But I was very intrigued about the technology. And once I found out which obvious problems there are within the health of the internet, then I felt that this is the health I'm gonna fix first. And this is where I found it to become my passion. But let's say after Veriff, in 30 years, I still go back to medicine. And not as a doctor, but I still believe there's a lot that can be done through entrepreneurship angle.
Yeah, for sure. There you go. You heard it here first. So you recently became a father. Huge congratulations to your first
Thanks.
baby. In this new chapter of life, right, which is different, how's your perspective on work changed and your perspective on life?
I think I don't know. It might sound a bit odd, but it hasn't changed much, to say honestly. I think at first, children come to your life, not the vice versa, and you're more excited about. I think, and yeah, I'm like, it hasn't changed much. Maybe I can't even say that I can't. I can't even say that I'm sleeping less. I think, yeah, it's been the rhythm of the life, but it's so exciting all across. You really see that he now starts to keep an eye contact, and you celebrate all those very single steps, and for sure you feel that it's you have now in your life the most important person, and you might even think a bit more about the impact you take with all the hours you invest in anything you do. But I don't see it has changed too much. But of course there's a new thing that I want to become the best at, which is become the best father now.
There we go. That's a good ambition. Okay, it's been excellent to have this chat with you, Kaarel. I've learned some new things about you, which has been a joy. Let's just finish with, if you can complete this sentence. I'll know Veriff's mission has made a difference when...
We've saved one person from fraud. And what I'm saying is that we do it on a daily basis. And every day we have a difference and impact that we make. And what drives me is the excitement that every person on this planet can become a user of Veriff. And this is where we can have so much bigger impact on a daily basis. So celebrate the small steps, see the impact, and just enjoy the journey and the excitement for the years ahead.
Great. Well, thanks very much, Kaarel. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.